and they're off. Sarah Nelson now asserting herself. Smoking Joe back to second. Here's Sarah Nelson. They drive to the wire. Smoking Joe, Sarah Nelson. Sarah Nelson gets off.
Sarah Nelson holds off Smoking Joe.
Sarah Nelson in a romp.
Sarah Nelson, ladies and gentlemen, once again, just crushing the competition.
Sarah Nelson, she's going to win the Open Mule Challenge. It's her 28th career victory.
Sarah Nelson just had it. She liked the post-parade, she liked the paddock, but what she liked most was getting off of her stool, getting in that starting gate. The bell rang it open and she said, "Get out of here." She just different. And of course, history obviously proves that conclusively.
And the break is to the center right here.
It was in Winnemucca in June of 2002, the first weekend that Sarah easily won the Futurity Trials.
Tight race, so as we look here, they're looking back. Looking right now to Gambler's Cash, the number 4 mule trying to make a move up. The number 1 mule, Sarah Nelson, will be 1-4-2-3 finish. Roger Downey right there. One of the outstanding mule racers of our time. There's no doubt about it.
But it was kind of the end of July of '02, after race 5 or 6, when Sarah was undefeated. I knew I had something. When Sarah set a track record at Fresno, at the big Fresno Fair in October of '02, of course, which was her 9th race, she established a new track record, which was interesting, the fact that a 3-year-old had established that, and of course, again, won very easily, and that was a significant purse. I think it was right at about $23,500, which was a fair amount of money for us poor mule guys. And it was extremely clear that Sarah had separated herself, you know, as a 3-year-old, and that if she kept sound, which she did, she would continue with no change in her spirit or heart to be dominant.
He establishes a new track record.
That difference was very consistent her whole life.
I think anybody could train her. She trains herself. She goes to the track and gives it her all every time. She's a veteran. She knows what she's doing, and she has the heart to do it with still. Even though she's older, she's broken 2 track records of her own this summer. She's a neat animal to be around. She's very special.
My name is Pete Cooper. I'm from Miami, Oklahoma, which is right in the very northeast corner of Oklahoma. I love training mules to race. That's what I do, and I've been doing it for most of my life. But when Sarah first came along into the mule racing world, well, she was sort of a phenomenon. And she just sort of took the mule racing by storm when she first, when she first came on the scene. There just wasn't anything at the time that could even run on the track with her, and even stay close to her. And she held that distinction for 7 or 8 years. Longevity is much better than horses. They don't tend to break down like horses do over, as they get older. If a horse had been ran as many races as Sarah has run in her life, a horse would probably not even have any legs. They'd be gone. But now, there'd just be no way that they could even think about it. But Sarah has probably, as far as number of races, run more races than any horse ever even dreamed of running. So they are definitely just their hybrid vigor and all makes them tougher and they stay sounder. And I think this year she even still broke and set new track records and broke her own existing track records 2 different times earlier this year. So yes, she definitely still runs. For a mule, she's just been one of a kind.
Isn't she special? One of a kind. It's her heart and her mind. She just wants to be a winner. She just wants to be a winner. And she looks so innocent, but look at that eye. She's kind of saying, you know who I am, I'm Sarah Nelson. We know who you are. In her time, set a lot of world records at 350, 400, 440, 660. Huh? You get her out of her stall and you walk her over to the paddock and she's like Sonny Liston or Mike Tyson. She knows, she says, where are they, boy? I'm going to knock you out. She's looking for them. When she had the match races with Smoking Joe, people would ask me, Smoking Joe was an outstanding race mule, same age as Sarah, came along during the same time, would ask me, does Sarah know that it's Smoking Joe? And I said, now I don't know. Sarah and I, we don't talk about things like that. But I'll say one thing, I don't care whether it's a kangaroo, a thoroughbred, or whatever it is, a rocket. All she wants to be is in front. She just wants to win and get there first, huh, sweetheart? And you look so calm and your demeanor is so good. There, you must like the sunshine here in Lincoln, Sarah. Thank you. Isn't she wonderful? God. Isn't she wonderful? Oh, what are you doing? You're not that special. You're not that special. I'd like to introduce Jody Collins. The reason that I'm here and the reason that my animals are here all the way from Corrales, New Mexico to this obscure place in Lincoln, California is not because of the abundance of sunshine or the rain in the winter, but because of Jody Collins. And Jody handles everything for me here and was involved with the birthing of all of my new race mules.
Even if they don't work their way into your heart, you still have to say, you know, you're special. There is something different about you that makes you above the norm. And Sarah is definitely that. What is different in the horse racing to the mule racing is if they do still run at 10, or you see the ones still running at 12, they're sound. They're holding up to the job well and show just a breed hardiness that is so true of everything they do. And they are, with the hybrid crossing, a hardier creature. I've probably studied her more than anybody that's been in her because she lives with me, and I'm very intrigued at what makes this big mule run faster than the average big mule, because in looking at her, there's nothing about her that would scream speed at you. You know, there's just nothing that sets her apart, and yet she has proven to be faster than the average mule. And I watch her and I condition her and I've rode her, and I really don't know what it is that makes her have the ability to run faster, other than the want to. The one thing I do know, she has more want to. She wants to be better than the other mules, which is very horse-like.
We're off and running. The break is to the center right here. Siskiyou Little Red Rider making the early move in the race as we're coming down the outside. Take a look to Mighty Merlin. It's going to be a tight race, though, as we look here. They're looking back. Looking right now to Gambler's Cash, the number 4 mule, trying to make a move up. The number 1 mule, Sarah Nelson, will be 1-4-2-3 finish.
And they're off in the AMRA 2002 World Championship Futurity. Jesse Perez is out fast, far outside Sarah Nelson. Smoking Joe moving up on the inside. Then it's Mayberry Millie, followed by Utah mid-stretch. Smoking Joe and Sarah Nelson are slugging it out. Sarah Nelson has the lead, and Sarah Nelson has won it. Sarah Nelson and Jim Burns capture the AMRA World Championship Futurity of 2002. Now returning to the winner's circle, number 9, Sarah Nelson. Her 8th win in 9 career starts. Ladies and gentlemen, please note the running time for the 350 yards, 20 and 77 100 seconds, establishes a new track record. A new track record for the 350 yards, 20 and 77 100 seconds.
Sarah Nelson is going to go in. We're 1 mule away from history here at Los Alamitos. And away they go. And a beautiful start on the outside for Sarah Nelson. Siskiyou Skip Libby also came out running well, but is drifting outward. Jet Setter in between horses. Evelyn Nelson had to alter course as Siskiyou Skip Olivia on the extreme outside is Sarah Nelson, but Sarah Nelson making 4 to 5 look like a gift here and is going to crush him. And now returning to the winner's circle, victorious in the first ever mule race held here at Los Alamitos with 9 wins in 10 lifetime starts is number 9, Sarah Nelson.
And they're off in the Pleasanton Mule Championship. Black Ruby is out fast with Fancy. Then it's Smoking Joe, followed on the inside by Sarah Nelson. Then it's Taz. The trailer is Jet Setter in mid-stretch. The leader is Smoking Joe. Sarah Nelson to the inside. Black Ruby on the outside is third. Sarah Nelson, Smoking Joe. Black Ruby will taste defeat. Sarah Nelson and Smoking Joe. Sarah Nelson wins. Race 2, the Pleasanton Mule Championship goes to the 1, Sarah Nelson. In the gate, and they're off. Siskiyou Skip Libby is out fast with Sarah Nelson. Then it's Taz, Smoking Joe the inside, Little John, and Black Ruby is last. Mid-stretch, 2:20 to come. Siskiyou Skip Libby just in front. Smoking Joe runs at her from the inside. Sarah Nelson down the center of the track with Taz. Sarah Nelson has taken the lead. Taz racing up on the inside. Sarah Nelson, Taz. Sarah Nelson wins. Sarah Nelson, the 2003 Fresno American Mule Racing Association Gold Cup.
And away they go. My Red Corvette and Taz both started off well. Sarah Nelson to the extreme outside now begins to close in with Siskiyou Skip Libby as Taz and Baldassar Contreras go on powerfully. Robert Boyce now has Sarah Nelson rolling on the far outside, and it's going to be Sarah Nelson and Taz, but track record holder Sarah Nelson coming home impressively.
And they're off. Jet Setter and Taz break 1-2 with Black Ruby, Evelyn Nelson, Sarah Nelson from the inside. Then it's Chinook Pass, Utah the far outside. Mid-stretch, 2:20 to come. Sarah Nelson now taking the lead. Then it's Evelyn Nelson and Taz to the outside. It is Sarah Nelson, Taz, Evelyn Nelson. Sarah Nelson has won it. Now in the winner's circle, 1, Sarah Nelson.
Get ready, folks. They're off and running. On the inside is Sarah Nelson, neck and neck, Smoking Joe. Here they come down the chute. Sarah Nelson starting to pull out just a little bit. Smoking Joe charging hard on the outside. Here they come to the wire. Sarah Nelson out in front. It's Sarah Nelson.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Ferndale Mule Showdown. $10,000 owner-funded purse. Winner take all. Number 1 is Sarah Nelson, owned by Roger Downey, trained by Donald McDaniel. The jockey is Robert Boyce. And number 2 is Smoking Joe, owned by Terry Shelton, trained by Jackie Payton with Danny Bowe. Sarah Nelson versus Smoking Joe. Sarah Nelson has run 54 times with 35 wins, 13 seconds, 3/3 for earnings of $171,348. Smoking Joe has raced 54 times, 24 wins, 20 second place finishes, 4/3 for $123,570. And they're off. Smoking Joe, as usual, breaks on top. Sarah Nelson will go right with him, though. And they're head and head down the backstretch. And Sarah Nelson takes the lead by a head. Smoking Joe is right up alongside with a 1/4 mile to run. Sarah Nelson a half length. Smoking Joe is being worked upon to get closer. Sarah Nelson starting to sneak away now. Sarah Nelson opens up 2 lengths. Smoking Joe cannot keep up. And Sarah Nelson is turning this showdown into a 1 mule affair. Look at her go through the lane. It's all Sarah Nelson. Another dominant performance. Sarah Nelson wins the Ferndale Mule Showdown by 7 lengths. Smoking Joe was far behind.
Sarah Nelson was in the 1 hole, and Smoking Joe was in the 2 hole, and this was 660. Again, Smoking Joe was the favorite because historically had won. And Sarah was in the 1 hole. Smoking Joe tried to squeeze him into the rail before the first turn, which was just good race strategy. Without Sarah's jockey using the left stick to move Smoking Joe out of the way on the rail. Before the first turn, she just moved him out of the way herself and won by 5 lengths and set a new, world and track record at Ferndale, going 660.
Sarah Nelson wins the Ferndale Mule Showdown. The running time was 38.47 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Sarah Nelson. And they're off. Sarah Nelson breaks out smoothly, as did Genghis Khan. Bar JF Flying J is in between them. It's Genghis Khan and Sarah Nelson. These two squaring off. Bar JF Flying J is in between them. Sarah Nelson opens up a commanding lead. And it's all Sarah Nelson. She comes back with a flourish to romp home. The final running time of 19.95 seconds breaks her own track record. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 10-year-old Sarah Nelson to the winner's circle. And they're off. Sarah Nelson comes out sweetly for the early lead. He's A-OK, flashing sharp early speed. Blue McGee, PhD on the inside. Callie McGee, very erratic at the back of the pack. Sarah Nelson narrowly. He's A-OK in the orange at the rail. Blue McGee, PhD. It's Sarah Nelson at age 13. Sarah Nelson comes back yet again to win. Ladies and gentlemen, she has won 57 races. She comes back as a 13-year-old. Please welcome Sarah Nelson. And they're off. Restless Hannah had a miserable beginning. Dirty Rotten Trick is going straight to the front on the outside. Here comes Sarah Nelson, the true professional, and Sarah Nelson just cruising and putting on a show. Wow, Sarah Nelson, awesome today. She wins for the 58th time, and she's earned over $270,000. How good did she look today? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the great Sarah Nelson.
The sharks were in the water. Everyone was interested in the breeding. Who was the mare, who was the jack? And of course, the first one to check that out was obviously me. Both had been deceased, so there was no way to replicate the breeding of Sarah Nelson. How do we get another Sarah Nelson? Well, simple. There's only one way, and that would be to clone Sarah Nelson. When the opportunity presented itself to clone Sarah Nelson, I was obviously positive and accepted that. Sarah Nelson's clone was born June 6th, 2009, and she was the first cloned equine from a live equine to be born in the world. So this was renowned and one of a kind, and of course that is still the case. Sarah Nelson has the distinguishing fact of having the only live cloned mule in the world. We call her Little Sarah, and of course it's very exciting to me and to a lot of people to wonder and question if Little Sarah will have the heart and the willingness and the speed, like Sarah Nelson. The intrigue of that is just mystifying.
It's amazing what they can do now. Of course, I'm from the old school, and I have a hard time even comprehending how they can take a cell and grow an animal out of it. But I think it's amazing. They're identical, really. Everything about them as far as looks. Now you never know how they will actually turn out as a racing prospect or a racer herself. But she certainly has the looks and everything there that sure could happen.
There are very definite likenesses in mannerisms of this baby and the adult Sarah. I don't think it's the future. And honestly, I hope it's not the future. I'm kind of more, I like the challenge of the breeding and experimenting with what you think you're going to get and trying to be an insightful breeder, and I like that gamble.
The only time that Sarah ran with what I affectionately call her little sister, or her clone, Little Sarah, was at Santa Rosa in July of 2013, which again was a lot of press interview, a lot of interest, because that was the first of a kind.
In this remarkable situation that we will see play out before us in mere seconds. Racing, Sarah Nelson begins splendidly. RJF Party Girl drifting in sharply. Red Rooster, Lil Sarah, and out wider Blue McGee PhD are running good races, but Sarah Nelson is in full control of proceedings. The evergreen champion, Sarah Nelson, in cruise control, has beaten Red Rooster, and Lil Sarah, the 4-year-old clone, has run third. But all honours with Sarah Nelson in a dominating display to register her 61st victory from 113 starts. And that result, ladies and gentlemen, was never ever in doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back to the winner's circle for the 61st time in her remarkable career, the champion mule Sarah Nelson. A 14-year-old she is now, but continues her magnificent form. This season she has 3 wins and a second from 4 starts. And in this remarkable history-making race, we now have Sarah Nelson's 4-year-old clone, Lil Sarah, making an appearance for a photograph in the winner's circle alongside the great Sarah Nelson.
Prior to that race in Santa Rosa, there was a lot of press, a lot of interest, and obviously a great deal of interest on my part. The fact that little Sarah, you know, was 4, and you know, Sarah was 13 at, you know, at the twilight. A little emotion. I was probably, my heart said I want the big sister to win, but what would have been, you know, interesting and for history if little Sarah the clone would have won. But realistically, I thought she just wasn't ready to take on her big sister, and that's precisely the outcome of the race. So there was a lot of emotion for me, obviously, and a lot of history. You can clone the conformation, you can clone the movement, the athletic ability, but can you clone the heart and the spirit? Sarah Nelson had her last race September 28th last year in Stockton, California.
And they're off. Sarah Nelson breaks out smoothly. Sassy Jazzy, I'm a Top Gun is finishing willingly. And Bismo is now moving into contention strongly. It's Sarah Nelson, the 15-year-old. Late run coming from Baby Sister in the center of the track. Sarah Nelson, Baby Sister, hit it together. Sarah Nelson and Baby Sister in a tear-jerking conclusion to the Stockton Fair. The 63rd win of her brilliant career, Sarah Nelson. Going into this race, she had earned $284,000, 118 starts, 62 wins, 31 seconds, 11 thirds. She gets her 63rd victory today. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for number 2, Sarah Nelson.
She won that race, which was her 63rd win, and set, of course, which she had been setting, the all-time earnings record, which was $287,425. She won her first race. She won her last race. In a photo, I was there. I did not make an announcement at the track to let people know that that was her last race, but it was so emotional for me that she went out a winner. I can remember driving from Stockton to my place in Sonoma with a feeling that I'd never had before. And Not to be too dramatic, but it was euphoria. It was, oh God, Sarah, you did it. And now we're done and we're on to better things. I have to be honest. It was important to me that she go out with a win. And the fact that she was behind and got it at the wire, I think you can understand how I felt, and of course the crowd that was there and her fans, and to go out that way at age 15, beautiful, beautiful. Sarah Nelson now is retired and is treated like a queen, as she well should be. She's in Lincoln, California, where I have my other stock, just taking it easy and leading the good life, which is justified. She will be ridden recreationally because that's important. And of course, I can't wait to spend some quiet time with her on the trail. And she will have the rest of her life a very privileged, obviously elegant life. Forget the conversation, Roger. You had the best. You had snotty, beautiful Sarah Nelson.